Hi, Dr. David here, and I want to address a question I often get asked, and that is, can you really ever recover from addiction? And that's such a simple sentence or question, but it sure is a complicated answer. And all depends on what you define by addiction, what you define by recovery, and so on. So, in the simplest of terms, um, addiction recovery is certainly possible. But what does that mean? To me, it means, and I'm a recovering addict, it means that the substance over which I became addicted and lost control now many years ago is something I still stay away from. I do believe, based on my own early experience trying to get sober so many years ago, and experience of many clients, thousands of clients since then, that when we think we can start to go back and dabble in the substance, now I've learned also behavior that brought us down originally, and that is a personal choice, right? There's ways of measuring that. When do we cross that line and become addicted? But we're not dealing with that specific issue today. We're talking about recovery from. So when we cross that line, become addicted, we really have to use extreme caution. And I stay just away from the substance, which in my case was alcohol. It's also true that I can easily transfer addiction. So my compulsivity, the urges that drove me to use some substance or behavior in the first place to soothe myself, to escape, to numb out, to dissociate, to distract myself from whatever problems I was trying to numb or get rid of. If those problems are still there, I'm just going to find another way. I call it whack-a-mole syndrome. So I may not use alcohol anymore because that's kind of off limits for me, but maybe I go to pot or gambling or opioids or speed or sex or porn. Or there's all kinds of ways to activate and release that energy. And so it's important to really deal with what's underneath, what's driving it. What is that big hole in my side that I'm trying to fill up? They talk about that hole in our heart sometimes. So those are the questions that we need to ask. If we can get a handle on that, if we can get support, and this is, remember, addiction recovery is something we don't do in isolation. We do it with other people. And so it's incredibly important to be connected. It's incredibly important to find support from other people. It's incredibly important to find ways of managing triggers and cravings and situations, and mostly to figure out, where are my blind spots? What are my core beliefs that are negative? Do I, at some level, think I'm unworthy or unlovable, or somehow everybody leaves me, or whatever my false negative beliefs are? We have to do some deep work, deep internal work. In my case, I believe the 12 steps were helpful, along with psychotherapy, along with time and wisdom. Not everybody has to do it by the 12 steps. That's not the only way, but it's important to start to take a look at ourselves, and we can't do it in isolation, because as addicts, we will talk ourselves into anything. We need outside help, outside evaluation, and outside support. Dr. David here, signing out.